Dubious ones, welcome back to the channel for some more WWE 2K25. Today we are going over the top 10 features, changes, fixes, things I want brought back to the franchise to literally save the franchise. These are the top 10 most important features we need to see in 2K25 and beyond. And it really doesn't just apply to WWE 2K25. It applies to the WWE games as a whole and wrestling games as a whole. These are top 10 features that are needed and that we need fixed, made better, or just brought back to the franchise to really make a difference for me. Now, this video took me a while to piece together the footage I was seeking for this, so please consider leaving me a comment with your thoughts on the video, whether you agree with my takes, disagree, let me know. And also let me know the features and changes and other improvements you'd like to see in the comments down below. Now let's get right into the video. So, number 10. The number 10 thing I want to see come to WWE is really, I just want an improvement to the backstage areas, a la Ultra Pro Wrestling, where they're going to have smaller venues with different backstage areas from the larger arenas. And because they have different locker rooms, they're going to have smaller locker rooms, different types of backstage areas based on, I think there's going to be 3, like a small, medium, and large venue. And because we have create an arena and you are able to create different sized arenas, I would like to see backstage areas differentiate themselves from each other. In the old games, as you can see on the screen, backstage areas in games like Here Comes the Pain or No Mercy were a lot more fun, I feel, than the backstage areas we have currently. I really dislike, or I just bored with the backstage areas we have. Whereas in the backstage areas we used to have, they even had like miniature, like Hell in a Cells, those cages you saw where you could choke slam someone through them in the backstage area. It was a lot more interactive. You could throw people off of stuff. You had fun little things like that where you could drive around vehicles. You could ride on a motorcycle. You could choke slam people on top of cars or do finishers on vehicles. You could dive off stages. Some of that stuff we have now. A lot of it we don't. A lot of the fun that we used to have and the chaos we used to have in these backstage areas is just lost on today's games. And I think that's a huge, huge loss. We've had backstage areas in wrestling games for over 25 years now. The fact that we haven't had a better iteration in them in these top 10 in these top AAA games from WWE is a real shame. I'm really, really hoping Ultra Pro Wrestling's able to bring back that feel we got from the No Mercy games or the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain games like you're seeing on screen. I really, really hope they're able to bring back that feeling of like things like this. Like if you're hitting a jackhammer on a car, sure, he's just sliding across it, but boom, look what happens to the car when he hits it. It breaks the car. Just fun little stuff like that. Those were what made these games so much fun to play and fun to play with your friends. Along with crazy stuff like this, being able to drive forklifts and motorcycles, hitting the ref, hitting the characters. Like this was peak WWE fun. And for those of you who are younger, who've only played the 2K franchise and the newer games, you're missing out on so much fun that used to be in these games, in these backstage areas. I don't necessarily need them to have just the, different variations in the backstage for small, medium, and large arenas, though that would be great because we can make, your sumo halls or your big dome shows, your big WrestleMania type shows. I don't need them to all be different. Fine. It's cool that Ultra Pro Wrestling is going to be doing that, and I would like to see some of that. But, I mean, if we don't get that, at least some changes to the backstage area, because it's been the same for so many years. It's pretty boring. I actually preferred the 2K19 backstage areas to what we've had for the last several years in the 2K games. But that right there is my number 10. Now, number 9, what I want to see is going to be touching, the next few points are going to be touched on the creation suite. Now I'm going to leave in the description down below, there will be timestamps for you guys so that you'll be able to skim through and see your favorite parts. But this one's another big one for me, and I think a lot of you have been requesting it, and it is body and face morphing. We used to have incredible body and face morphing in the Creation Suite, and the Creation Suite has always been one of the biggest sellers of these games as a whole, and I'm just so disappointed that we have lost features instead of enriching the features we already have. Like, we used to be able to edit every single part of the body. You could make them really fat, you could make them really skinny, you could make your traps really tall, really short. You could edit every part of the body to make them look as ridiculous as you wanted instead of just having set body types. And I thought that was way better. I understand the argument of the clipping into different articles of clothing or belts or different things. But I mean, we still get that clipping and those issues as it is without the body morphing. So the fact that they're not able to fix it 100% as it is, I'd much rather have the body deformation, the face deformation, being able to make freaks and crazy characters, but it also allowed you to make much more accurate creator wrestlers as far as body types, face types. It's so generic now, whereas here you used to be able to change the position of everything. The traps, the neck. You could see how you could give them like the Brock Lesnar type of shoulders or the Bobby Lashley kind of like crazy traps. You could change the back, the chest. Like, just look at the video on screen. This is from 2K16. This game's almost a decade old itself now. This is a 9-year-old game, and this was the last time we saw proper body morphing in the game. Shout out to Smack Talks for the footage that I'm using from 2K16 here in the video. And of course, go check them out, go subscribe to them. But like, seriously, we used to be able to edit every single piece of our creator wrestler, every part of their body, the size of their hands, their feet, their nose, their mouth. You could change the position, move it up and down on their face. You could make some weird freak show characters, just like you can in games like Street Fighter 6. You can make weird freak show characters in that too. Nobody's got a problem with it. I don't think the clipping is as big an issue as they made it out to be. I'd much rather go back to this and have weird freak show creations than just be so limited in our creative freedom with creator wrestlers. Because this also made in-community creations for some really, really good and accurate creator wrestlers. And I just think that anything they do to take away from our creative freedom is a downgrade. And I think we've been really, really downgraded over the past decade. And it's so sad that I'm asking for them to give us back features that we've had like 10 years ago, 15 years ago plus, 20 years ago for things like No Mercy's backstage area or Here Comes the Pain's backstage area. It's crazy to me that we're having to ask for these things back that we had, and they did so well in the past. Now, let's get to our next point. Number 8, we're staying on that Creation Suite love, but the next one is another very highly requested feature, and it is the return of Create a Move or Create a Finisher. Now, I understand there's going to be some problems that some people are going to have online with Create a Finisher because there was issues, I know in the past when they had Create a Finisher, that there were some hacked moves that came into play, things that were like insta-pins that you couldn't kick out of. There was no option to do so. But here I'm just showing off a little bit of, this was the Fire Pro Create a Move, not just Create a Finisher, but this is just Create a Move in Fire Pro. And some of the creations I was able to make myself in this game, and it was a lot of fun. Like, you know, a variation on the Van Daminator there, variations. I put out the package pile driver in that game, like just being able to literally, I pulled out a chair out of nowhere, and of course it disappears. That was all my creation, right? Like, I didn't have to pull out a chair, put it in the ring. I mean, maybe you don't necessarily want that, but I'm able to take something like a Reverse Frankensteiner, Poison Rana, and change the impact on it, or for like this, change the impact from a power bomb there into a pile driver. So this just gives you an idea of some of the things you could do. And here you go, like you've got just different move selling, just some of the selling changing on different moves, changing like a power bomb, you know, selling animation to a pile driver or something. Here we've got another awesome package pile driver from Kevin Steen to Adam Cole. Boom, KO, knockout. The Create a Move was something that gave a lot of longevity to the Fire Pro game, and it was so cool. And we used to have a cool Create a Finisher, And like I said before, I understand if they have to remove it from online play, that you can't use them in online if it's causing, hack moves that are, ruining the online experience. But just like, look how much fun it is. Just, I spent hours just creating moves, and all I really did was just, package pile driver, and I take a chair, put it out, have it disappear, change the finish animation to being knocked out. It was fun. It's a fun thing, and because the creation suite is so huge in this game, I definitely want to see this mode come back. I want this feature coming back to WWE games and other wrestling games. I would like to see it in, like Ultra Pro Wrestling in the future, but definitely in WWE 2K25 and beyond. I don't think we're going to get it, but it is something that I would love to see come back. Now, let's look at number 7. Number 7, again, it's going to stay on the creation suite train, but it's really going to be the ability to use all pay-per-view and PLE stages in Create an Arena. The fact that we weren't able to use the WrestleMania stages that we got from Showcase mode last year in 2K24, along with having the stages from WrestleManias that weren't in the game so that players could recreate those WrestleMania arenas, I thought was such a huge step in my opinion. I really think that we should have like all the stages from like all the like WWE pay-per-views over the years, or variations, or at least the really unique, cool ones, and being able to create those arenas. If those arenas aren't in the game, I definitely want to be able to create them. And even if they are in the game, like, I still want to be able to use those stages to make my own unique stages. Like, it's crazy that there's arenas in the game and you can't use those active stages in Create an Arena. It defeats the whole purpose of having Create Arena, in my opinion. So for number 7 for me, definitely big changes to the Create an Arena option. Now, number 6 for me is going to do with online. Online, I think we need ranked play of some sort, and we need them with leaderboards. Fight Forever had this option, and I thought it was one of the only shining parts of Fight Forever was that they had leaderboards. Eventually, they got hacked or whatever with the point system and everything, but I was legitimately, in the first week of that game's release, I was like number 3 in the world on all of Xbox, and I took pride in that. And I played the game a lot. I thought I was really good, but the problem with that game was people would just quit, and it wouldn't affect their ranked record. So that was very frustrating. So there was a lot of issues with it, but I definitely want to see ranked play come back to 2K with some form of leaderboards. It's a huge thing for online players, and I mean, just to really be able to showcase, your rank and have some sort of title icon, some sort of reward for getting higher in the ranks as well. Would be a great incentive to get players to play more of ranked and try and level up and get to the higher tiers. But ranked with leaderboards is a huge one for me, so that's my number 6. Number 5, this is a big one. Again, needing more video for you guys. Number 5 for me is going to be Universe Mode. We need some big changes. And what do I mean by big changes? I mean the whole mode needs a huge rework. It feels like we need, I think we need promos back, way more dynamic cutscenes, options to fully customize what cutscenes play during Rivalries. Give us back all the cutscenes, as you're seeing on screen right now. These are the cutscenes we got from Creative Story Mode. I have it sped up to ×2, just because there's so much in here I wanted to show you guys. But I really want to see all the cutscenes that we had in Creative Story come back that we could use in Universe Mode for our Rivalries. So many of them were so cool that you can use for promo segments, and it would make the mode so much more entertaining to play, as well as to watch for content creators who want to use Universe Mode. It would make it so much more dynamic. It would make for so much more dynamic Rivalries, because look at all the different cutscenes you can have, even with branching ones here, where you can have the option. You have a branching one. Look, it's a title celebration. Oh no, now it's Christian turning on Edge, knocking him out of the ring from behind. And this one, look, here's another variation where he hits him in the face with it. Why can't we have these cutscenes back? These are all WWE games. This is from 2K13. This is over a decade old. Look at the number of cutscenes we have. These are branching cutscenes where Vince gives John Cena the chair, and he look at the different branching and options he has to choose whether he wants to use them or not. Look at all these different branching options. So it's like, oh, here's a victory celebration between R-Truth and Kofi. So they can celebrate by either going to the top rope and giving their little celebration, or you can have one of them turn on the other. You can have Kofi turn on R-Truth, or you can have R-Truth turn on Kofi. And for any of these cutscenes, you could edit how many characters are in the scene, which characters they are. Didn't matter if they're creator wrestler, in-game wrestler. And again, with these branching stories, you can pick. Do you want him to accept the handshake? Do you want it not? You could even leave it at random for your rivalries. So sometimes they might accept it, sometimes they might not. They've even got things like the Survivor Series screw job as an option. The Survivor Series screw job they have as an option as a cutscene in this game that you can use, where they have Brett and Sean here. I know he was going into an ankle lock, not the sharpshooter. But these were options we had over a decade ago. This is from 2K13. This is from 2K13. And credit goes out to WWE SVR Rookie for the footage to get from these old WWE 2K13 cutscenes. Shout out to him. Go check them out. I don't think they really post anymore, but this again is over 10-year-old footage I had to find for this video of how much we used to have in these games that we don't have. Like I said, any of you guys that are newer to the franchise that have only played the games over the last maybe 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years, you never even got to experience this. Look at the amount of different setups you have on the left-hand side for all the different cutscenes you can choose from, and how many, look at all the different options here. So we have attack, branching, something in a cage, at the commentary desk. Is it a diva? Is it an encounter? Someone found. GMs, an interview, mid-match, outside the ring, post-match, pre-match. Can it be a promo, a prop, a show intro, a union, an entrance? And every one of them had tons of options to choose from. Like the branching one has branching things. You have your post-match. We have so limited cutscenes. It's so limited in the rivalries, what you get out of universe mode, that if you just gave us the full creative wheel, gave us all these options, so when you're creating a rivalry, you can create a mid-match cutscene to happen in the middle of a match, pre-match, post-match, something backstage. You can change the areas that these take place in for a lot of them. So if it's like a backstage thing, you can change what part of the backstage it's taking place in, or if it's in the ring. You can choose if there's managers there, if there's more people there, if like, I think you could have up to 5, maybe 6 people in a scene. This was with over a decade old technology. This was like on the old 360 and PS3. This is ridiculous that we lost all of this. All of this. This would make Universe a million times better. Being able to set up post and match. Look, you even have the Eddie Guerrero cell where he pretends to get hit with the chair. Like, come on. Why did we lose all this? Why is this not still a thing? You get anywhere from post-match. Look, you got a title celebration. You have attack from behind. You can do Money in the Bank cash-ins. Why can't this be part of my universe mode? Why can't I have this? Being able to assault someone with a chair post-match. And they have different variations of it. Oh, look, there's a second option. Now we have Edge and Christian doing it. So look, oh, Christian's going at Dolph. Oh, Edge's like, no, give me the chair. Let me do it. This is crazy that we had all these cutscenes that never got used for anything else. When they took out Create a Story, we lost all this. Let me know in the comments down below if you ever got to play Create a Story, because they would let you upload stories to community creations. And you could play other people's stories. You could create your own. And you had all of this amazing creation suite to work with. Like, I understand the graphics don't look nearly as realistic or as awesome as they do today, but you could even use entrances. And you could change how many people were here. Like, you can see Alberto Del Rio. You can change. You can add text to these. You can add like who's talking, who's, if there's commentary, if there's, how many people are in the entrance or in the scene itself. You also got to add dialogue. You got to put in your own custom dialogue for everything. So you could make just seeing this and realizing that it's been over a decade since we've had this kind of freedom in these games and this kind of customizability makes me want to cry, because these games were so good. There's a reason I'm so passionate about wrestling games. It's because I know what we had. So many of you don't know what we had and what they took away from us. It's mind-boggling. It's crazy. Universe mode needs a huge rework, and we need all of this back. All of it. I want every cutscene back. All of it. I want all these options. It's so crazy that we don't have it. It makes me just furious thinking about it. Please let me know in the comments down below. Have you got to play a creative story? Did you get to play any of these? Did you get to make your own stories? Because to me, coolest feature ever. And I'm not asking for creative story back. I'm just saying give us the cutscenes. Give us the cutscenes to at least use in our Rivalries in-universe mode that we have already. Like, it's just crazy to me that this happened. Now, number 4 for me, number 4 is remove locked rewards from showcase mode. I'm going to touch on it in my number 1 point, my number 1 fix, feature everything that I want. Stay tuned for that. But number 4, I want locked rewards completely removed from showcase mode. You used to have the accelerator that you could get when you bought the season pass or whatever. It would unlock everything from the start. Give us that back. I understand progression and everything, but these games have a huge, huge game-breaking bug that ruins all of that, and I'll touch on that at number 1. Stay tuned, but remove anything locked behind showcase mode. Showcase mode isn't fun, especially if you're a streamer or a content creator, because you don't even get to watch the fun videos of real-life footage that we get from those. We have to cut through those for copyright, but they're not fun. It's a glorified tutorial mode. It takes over 4 hours to play, and if you lose your entire save file, spoiler alert for number 1, you have to go through all of it all over again just to be able to re-download your community creations. And if you haven't finished showcase mode, guess what? Most community creations you're going to want to download, you're not going to be able to. Because why? Because there's a set of knee pads that were locked to a certain character that you unlocked in the creative store, or sorry, in the showcase mode. Or there was a pair of sunglasses, or there was a specific move locked to this character, or there was an attire piece or an arena part. Something was locked behind showcase mode, so you got to beat the whole thing just so you can download a character off community creations. It's so frustrating. I will touch on it again in my number 1 issue feature I need fixed in this game. But let's get on to number 3. Number 3, we need online to be better. We need better netcode and servers for both online play as well as community creations. I don't know how many people reached out to me in my videos talking about, and this is months after release, when I was talking about this in pre-release and at release of the game, that the community creation servers were down, were broken, weren't working properly. And I have still people reaching out to me on those videos being like, community creations still not working, community creations broken, community creations having issues, can't load in, takes 10 minutes to load a character. Community creation servers need to be better. This game sells millions of copies, makes millions and millions and millions of dollars. We need better online servers. And we need better netcode for online play. I want ranked in this game and a leaderboard. We don't have good servers to play with to begin with. We need better servers for online to just function properly. People have told me to no end, and I know my boy Loaded as a Beast, if you see this video, shout outs to you. But I know you'll appreciate this because you talk about it all the time. Online servers suck in 2K. They've always sucked, and they still suck, and they're terrible, and each year it seems like they get worse. So shout outs to you, my boy, because I know, as an online player, these are the reasons I don't play these games religiously like I used to. I used to play these games religiously all the time and loved my wrestling games. And 2K has turned me off the franchise so much by all the things they've stripped away from the game and or made worse over the years, as you've seen. But yes, please get us better netcode. Get us dedicated servers. Get us rollback netcode. Get us all the proper amenities we should have for an online game in 2025. It's so crazy that we're still making these arguments this many years later. Now, number two, the number two feature that I've been asking for forever, and it's 2025, and we still don't have it. Crossplay. Give us crossplay between all platforms. No questions asked. I want crossplay so that I don't have to buy this game on multiple platforms to play with my community. If I have this on PC, I should be able to play with you on Xbox or PS4, 5, whatever. The fact that this isn't only on PS5 and Series X and S and PS5 Pro is already a downgrade. Like, it means we're not getting the big improvements we want. But regardless, give us crossplay so I can play on PC with my friends who are on other consoles. Because guys like Loaded as a Beast or Clint Strides for Tube Wrestling, we don't all have it for PC. Maybe some of us have it for PlayStation. I don't own a PlayStation. I have an Xbox, but I can't play with them even on between consoles. I bought it on 2 consoles last year and still couldn't play with all my friends. Bought it for PC and for Xbox, play with viewers. Still couldn't play with the whole community because I don't have a PlayStation. Fix that. It's 2025. We need crossplay. No questions asked. No excuses. There's no reason not to have crossplay in 2K25. Period. Now, on to my number one, my biggest issue with these games. The number one thing that they need to fix. The number one feature we need added for 2K25. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Anyone who's followed the channel, you probably already know what it is. I already gave you spoilers with number 4. Why I want all rewards that are locked behind showcase mode removed. Because I want the save file bug fixed. I want the save file corruption file bug fixed. Don't know what that is? Well, let me tell you. I'll show you on the video here, but unfortunately I have to mute the audio because of the copyright, because of the in-game music that's in the background. If you want to watch the full video and you want to see when this happened to me all the way back in 2K17, if you want to go watch my video on that, I'll leave a link down in the description below. But I lost my entire save file in 2K17 all because I downloaded a CM Punk off Community Creations. It wiped my whole save file. I lost tens and tens of hours of creating my character, moveset, everything up and down, playing through the game mode, creating my universe, playing through all my downloaded community creations. Everything wiped because I downloaded one community creation. And guess what, folks? 2K24, that save file bug, to this day, it's been in the game before 2K17. It's been in the game for over a decade now. Developers still have not fixed it. There's a bug in their game that will completely remove all of your progress, whether you've put an hour into the game or 1,000 hours into the game, and you'll lose everything. So why did I want all locked rewards removed from showcase mode? Because if you lose your entire save file, you're either never going to play the game again, or you're going to have to re-download all your stuff from community creations. So if you back up your character, back up all your stuff, and can re-find everything that you already downloaded for your community creations and everything else, it'll take you several hours if you want to put the time in to get all that stuff back, but at least you can get it back. When there's stuff locked behind the showcase mode, guess what? You're going to have to play through 4 hours of a showcase mode again just so you can re-download that Kenny Omega you like so much, or that Will Ospreay, or that Sting, or that Darby Allin, or that MJF that just looks so cool. You want to download those again? Guess what? Gotta slog through 4 hours of showcase mode. Oh, and who knows? Once you finish that, 2 days later, you might lose your save file again and have to do it all over again. When this happened to me in 2K17, this turned me off the franchise for years. I didn't buy another 2K game for a couple of years, and guess what? I never, ever, ever got back into wrestling games the same way I was in 2K17. I loved the game. I wanted to build my channel around it in 2K17. I loved wrestling games and always have. I've been playing them since WrestleMania for the NES and WrestleFest in the arcades. I'm an old man, I know. I've been playing these games since the early 90s. Played all the Fire Pro games, all the WWE games, and I was the biggest fan in the world. Bugs like this are what turned me off ever wanting to give them my money again. So, my number one issue is please fix the save file corruption bug. Because it is a game-breaking bug that I don't know why it's been accepted for a decade now. People still buy this game. Myself included. I must be a glutton for punishment. But the fact that it still happens, that's what turned me off this game last year, or in 2K24. The reason I stopped making content on 2K24 is because I heard people tell me and saw screenshots and videos of people having the save file deletion bug and their save file being corrupted. I saw it happen to them and I just thought, oh, well, I'm not going to sink hundreds of hours into this game and just have that happen to me and ruin everything. Knowing that there's a 4-hour blockade of showcase mode, having to do that over to be able to get my community creations back and my characters back, no thank you. So I just stopped playing, left money on the table, and didn't make any of the content I was planning to make for 2K24. And it was very sad for me, and it was a sad decision. So please, 2K, hear this message. Share this video with any of your fellow creators that you like to see. Follow me on X and share it on X. Share it whatever platforms you like. But please, 2K needs to hear this. Please fix your save file corruption bug. It is the biggest issue you've had in this game for over a decade now. It's never been fixed. And at the bare minimum, please remove any locked rewards from showcase mode so that if the save file bug does happen to you, you can at least have backed up your stuff to community creations and can get it back within an hour or so. Not having to spend 4 hours grinding through a not fun game mode, especially after the first time of a showcase mode, to be able just to download your stuff back from community creations and your favorite creations back. That has been your public service announcement. Now, dubious ones, please feel free. In the description below, you can hear my live reaction to losing my save file back in WWE 2K17. I was not happy, to say the very least. Anyways, dubious ones, let me know if you agree with my list of things that I want to see, of features, changes, modes we want back, features we want back in this game to make 2K25 great again. Make the 2K series great again. I didn't even touch on the engine, the grappling engine. I didn't even touch on new match types. These are all things I want to see as well, but these are the top 10 most needed things for me. I don't love this engine. I'll tell you that right now. I don't love this engine, and I would love to see it change, but that's going to be a huge sweeping change that we're going to get when they leave, when they leave PS4 and Xbox One behind. Then maybe we'll get a change to the engine, because I'm not crazy about this engine. I don't hate it, but the grappling engine, to me, it's not my favorite that we've ever had by far. And like I said, sure, more match types, great. More creation options, fantastic. We need all those things. But to me, these were the top 10 things we desperately need to make this franchise great again. Again, I want to hear from you. Most important thing, the best thing you can do for this video, outside of subscribing, leaving a like, is commenting down below. Let me know what features you want to see come to the game, and if you agree with my list. Anyways, I appreciate you all for watching. I know it's been a longer than regular video. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting the channel. And until the next one, dubious ones. See you soon. Deuces.